Well, hey there, friends. Welcome back for another exciting season of WVU Energy Express on West Virginia Public Broadcasting and YouTube. As always, I'm your host, Zach Harold. If you can believe it, this is already the 5th summer we'll be spending together, and it's shaping up to be a great one already. This season will see us journey from the farm to 4-H camp, down to WVU Jackson's Mill, and even in some of our own backyards. But what would Energy Express be without the wonderful books that frame our summer programming? With that in mind, we're going to send things over to Jorge Atiles, Dean of Extension and Engagement at West Virginia University. Dean Atiles is going to introduce us to our new friend Gustavo. Now, there's something very special about Gustavo. He's a ghost, and not just any ghost. Gustavo is a shy ghost. So let's hop over and meet our friend Gustavo, and maybe Dean Atiles will even teach us a little Spanish along the way.
Hi, I'm Jorge Atiles, and welcome back to Energy Express on West Virginia Public Broadcasting. I am so happy to be here with you today, amigos. And I will gonna be reading a new book called Gustavo. This book was created by Flavia Drago, and she's a Mexican author. Gustavo is a ghost. He's a very shy ghost, and more than anything, he wants to make a friend. So this story is gonna be quite interesting. I'll throw in there a few words in Spanish too, for those of you who understand Spanish or are trying to learn Spanish as well. Un fantasma tímido, we will say in Spanish. And as you can see, there's a little picture of the ghost playing by himself, trying to play tennis. Poor thing. So Gustavo was a ghost, and he enjoyed doing the normal thing that paranormal beings do. Passing through walls, making objects fly, and glowing in the dark. Este fantasma le encantaba hacer las cosas normales que hacen los fantasmas. Le gusta las cosas paranormales, le gusta pasar a través de las paredes, le gusta hacer que los objetos vuelen, y también le gusta brillar en la oscuridad. You can see in this picture, where he's sitting in his home, there's daddy, there's mom, and he's trying to do things around the house. But there was something in the world that he loved more than playing the violin. Él le gustaba jugar el violín, pero realmente quería hacer algo mucho más. Cualquier otra cosa. Well, just about anything. Gustavo was secretly in love with Alma, the prettiest monster in town, but he also had a problem. Resulta que el fantasma, Gustavo, estaba secretamente enamorado de una chica llamada Alma, el monstruo más lindo de todo el pueblo, pero él tenía un problema. Making friends was terrifying to him. You can see here how he's surrounded by people, but he didn't know how to make friends. No tenía el coraje para ser amigos. Gustavo had never dared to speak to any of the other monsters. Él nunca se atrevía a hablar con los otros monstruos. He tried getting close to them. Se acercaba a ellos disimuladamente in many different ways. But even when he was right in front of them, they just couldn't see him. I guess that's the problem of being a ghost, right? Cuando uno es un fantasma, a veces la gente no te ve. Gustavo longed to be part of something. More than anything, he wanted to make a friend. Él quería más que nada hacer un amigo, tener algún amigo. Y se decía, I have to be brave. I have to let the others see me. En pocas palabras, él pensaba que tenía que ser más atrevido, que tenía que dejar que las otras personas lo miraran. So he decided to send a letter, a very special letter. And the letter read like this. Dear monsters, I would like to invite you to my violin concert, which will take place at the Day of the Dead party next full moon at the cemetery. I will be thrilled to see you there. Signed, Gustavo the Ghost. Él mandó una carta muy especial a todos los monstruos y los invitaba a que vinieran a oírle tocar el violín, un concierto de violín. Y el violín él lo iba a tocar en el lugar del cementerio donde se celebraba el Día de los Muertos. Ahí va a haber esa fiesta. Y él estaría encantado si ellos pudieran venir a verle tocar el violín. As the days went by, Gustavo couldn't stop thinking, what if no one shows up? What if they don't like my music? What if they don't like me? Except tonight was the night. and this time he couldn't hide. Gustavo estaba súper preocupado. Él no podía dejar de pensar, ¿y si nadie viene a mi fiesta? ¿Y si no le gusta mi música? Y peor, ¿qué tal si no les caigo bien? Pero llegó el momento y él estaba ya listo para tocar. The moment arrived, he couldn't hide anymore. When he arrived to the cemetery, he noticed that not one soul has showed up. Nadie vino al cementerio en ese momento. So all alone, Gustavo did what he loved most, and the music made him happy. So happy that he glowed, and how he glowed. Como nadie había venido a la fiesta, él empezó a tocar el violín, que era lo que más le gustaba. Y al tocarlo, la música lo emocionó. Lo hizo brillar en la oscuridad. De repente se oyen voces que dicen, ¡Gustavo! Y Gustavo se sonrojó, como ven. And then all the friends that he invited were there. And they were saying, we are so sorry we are late. We wanted to get you flowers, but we got lost instead. And then we heard your music, and we saw you glow. We really love your concert. Would you like to hang out with us? Cuando los amigos vinieron, dijeron, perdona que llegamos tan tarde. Queríamos traerte flores, pero nos perdimos. Pero entonces escuchamos tu música y vimos que estabas brillando en la oscuridad. Y nos encantó tu concierto. ¿Te gustaría ser amigo de nosotros? From that moment on, Gustavo's life changed, and everyone discovered that even if he didn't talk much, he was the best at helping and protecting his friends. Desde ese momento, la vida de Gustavo cambió y todo el mundo descubrió que a pesar de que él no hablaba mucho, era la mejor persona, el mejor fantasma en ayudar a los demás y en proteger a sus amigos. But mostly, Gustavo never stopped surprising them. Él nunca paró de sorprenderlos. And they never stopped loving him. Nunca dejaron de quererle. Y aquí se ven todos juntos, disfrutando de una fiesta juntos. They're right here, all together. Gustavo and his friends, hanging out, having a good time. And that really tells us something. I'm so glad that this author wrote this book. This book is about even though when you feel invisible like a ghost, even though when you don't have the courage to make friends, even though when you are hanging around other people hoping for them to notice, what he did, he used the best of him, and the best of him attracted others. So I hope that this book inspires you to also make friends and also put the best of you forward, because it pays off. Enjoy Energy Express this summer. We are so happy that you are part of WVU Extension and this program, and we are very thankful to West Virginia Public Broadcasting for being a partner. Have a great summer.
What a great story. I'm sure right now Gustavo is out making all kinds of new memories with all of his friends. Speaking of memories, our friend Dylan Collins is back with an activity that can help us turn all the memories we make this summer into our very own pieces of art. Let's head over and see what Dylan's up to.
Hi everybody, my name is Dylan Collins. I am Associate Professor and Sculpture Program Coordinator in the West Virginia University School of Art and Design. We're here at the lovely Canada Creative Arts Center in the Sculpture Studio, and I'm going to spend some time talking to all of you about folk art. So folk art is a very interesting form of art making that is based very much, kind of broadly speaking, folk art is based on the traditions, history, and culture of a given region. So something that I'm interested in talking to you about in regard to Appalachian folk art is a form of art called memory vessels. So I'm going to show you one that I made, and that'll kind of lead us into today's exercise. Okay, so this is my memory vessel, and this is my own personal version of an Appalachian tradition. So a memory vessel was a container or a cup or a jug of some kind. So basically a vessel that was used to gather things that were personally significant to somebody. So in this case, I am working with that idea of a memory vessel and making my own version. So this has all kinds of cool things here. It has toys. It has things that I found when I was out walking my dogs. It has parts from nature that I thought were cool, like cool rocks or acorns or things like that. So just kind of everyday things that I found and gathered that I thought would be cool, kind of to make a portrait of me. So this is my take on a memory vessel, and I'm excited to talk to all of you about the memory vessel that we're going to be making over the course of the summer. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that you will need in order to create your memory vessel over the course of the summer. So these are just some basic things that I think that will be helpful for you to have, and they're really simple things you probably have around you. So the first thing is you're going to need some kind of a cool container. So I just got this thing that used to hold cupcakes, and there's no more cupcakes because I ate all of them, but now we have an empty container. So any kind of I think a plastic container is great. And then that's going to help you to have the ability to gather cool objects. So these are actually things that I just found in my neighborhood in the last 24 hours, just out walking around. So these are mostly things from nature, rocks, cool parts of plants, pieces of wood, sticks. But you could also do things like if you have, maybe you have a part of a toy. Maybe you have some other kind of thing that was really memorable or exciting or something mysterious. So it can be any of those things that you can gather. And the nice thing is, as you see it kind of fill up this container, it can be a really great way to start to see the kind of stuff you're gathering and feeling like you have enough to work with. Other things you're going to need is you need some kind of a glue. So I just have some washable clear glue. I think just a school glue like that is fine. This stuff is non-toxic, so you can put it on with your fingers, squeeze it out, but also I have a brush and a cup because I want to be able to brush it around. And then last but not least, you need some kind of a vessel. So I'm guessing most of us have some kind of a plastic container. The nice thing about plastic is it's unbreakable and it'll last forever. So it makes it real easy to kind of work with for this activity. So you have your container, you have your cool parts, your vessel, your glue, and optional if you want a cup and a brush to use that to put things together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to set my container down right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start putting some glue on this in order to begin gluing my parts together. So you might consider this almost like a puzzle. So if you think back in your mind's eye, think about the last time you made a puzzle with your friends or your siblings or your family, kids at school. If you make a puzzle, you know what the puzzle is going to look like. This is a puzzle of sorts, but you don't exactly know what it's going to look like until all the pieces are fit together. It's not like you're making a sailboat. You're trying to figure this out as you go. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start kind of putting these pieces on here. And I like this too because I can set this container and just set it on one side and kind of let it dry here. And I'm going to put some more glue on here. And this is where it could be helpful if you have a brush and you want to brush some glue on all the surfaces. Also, things to keep in mind is, like in this case, you have a flat surface of a container, and this is going to work really well with other flat surfaces. And I might even have to use my box here to kind of prop that up. And I'll just put the last little bit of glue here. So in this case, I'm going to definitely want to let this stuff kind of set for a while so that it can dry. I could even put a little bit of extra glue in between these open spaces just to make sure it fits and then dries real nicely here. And this clear glue is really great because it will dry, But even if you use glue that has, a slight color, that's okay too. And then the last thing I might recommend is also, you might want a rag or a towel to kind of wipe up so you can kind of clean off your hands or wipe up extra glue. And then you're going to let that set, and you can go ahead and flip it, and you can keep attaching things to the other container. So you almost might think about all these found objects as like barnacles. Kind of like when barnacles attach to a bottom of a ship, these are little kind of like found object bits and pieces that are going to attach to your vessel, and they're going to really add up to be something really special. So something else to keep in mind with the memory vessel is if you have the ability to have an adult help you out, you could use hot glue to put things on. It's very hot, so be careful, but it can be a really good way to really make sure all of your objects get attached to your memory vessel. So, something to think about as we think about the beginning of a memory vessel, and in my case, a more finished memory vessel. This is a great opportunity over the summer, wherever you may be. Let's say you're at the beach, you're at 4-H camp, you're on the farm, you're walking the trail. Any of those things can be great ways to find and gather cool objects and then accumulate and put those things together in order to create your own memory vessel from all the great things you experience. So I hope you have a great summer. Take care.
Now it's time for a new segment from the WVU Extension Family Nutrition Program. We're calling it Wonderland Workouts.
Hi everybody, I'm Miss Shannon. Welcome to Wonderland Workouts. Today we're going to be working out to Goldilocks and the Three Bears. For this activity, we're going to be using our listening ears, and we're going to listen for certain words that will go along with some of our poses. Our first pose is baby bear. We're going to come down into frog position, and we're going to hold that. Our next pose is mama bear. We're going to come out, turn your feet out, and we're going to hold and squat down. This is called the goddess pose. For papa bear, we're going to stand straight, bring our arms out to the side, pretend like there's a string at the top of our head pulling us up to the ceiling, and we're going to hold. This is called mountain pose. When you hear Goldilocks, we're going to use prayer pose. You're going to stand with your feet hip width apart, and we're going to bring our hands to heart center and just hold. Anytime you hear the terms forest, woods, or trees, we're going to use tree pose. We're going to bring our foot to our calf, arms up in a V shape, and we're going to hold. If you have trouble with your balance, just put your foot on the floor. Anytime you hear the term sleeping, we're going to use corpse pose. We're going to lie down on our mat. We're going to get very comfy, shut our eyes, and just relax. When you hear the word chair, we're going to move into chair pose. Squat down, make sure your knees aren't going past your toes, and we're going to hold like we're sitting in a chair. Next, when you hear the word oatmeal, we're going to come down into squat position. We're going to pretend like we're holding a very big spoon, and we're going to stir the pot of oatmeal. In between all of our exercise prompts, we're just going to come to standing position, and we're going to move into that prayer pose. Okay, friends, are we ready? Once upon a time, there lived a girl named Goldilocks. She lived in a house at the edge of the forest. Now, back in those days, we used to call hair locks, and Goldilocks was called Goldilocks because she had long golden locks of hair. One morning, Goldilocks was out for a walk through the woods, where her mother told her to never go. But Goldilocks didn't think of that. Goldilocks went deeper and deeper into the woods until she realized she was lost. She found a house and decided to knock on the door. Goldilocks went up to the door and knocked. No one answered. So then she knocked again. Still no one answered. Let's knock one more time. No one answered again, so Goldilocks decided to go in. When Goldilocks entered the house, she smelled a wonderful smell. There on the kitchen table stood 3 steaming bowls of oatmeal. I'm going to come down into squat position, and we're going to stir our bowl of oatmeal. The oatmeal smelled wonderful, and Goldilocks realized just how hungry she was. What Goldilocks did not know was that there were 3 bears that lived in that house. They had made oatmeal for breakfast that morning, but it was too hot. So they decided to go for a walk through the woods and let their oatmeal cool. Goldilocks looked at the steaming bowls of oatmeal. She said, "I'm sure that they won't mind if I take a bite of each." Goldilocks tried the first bowl. It was too hot. Then Goldilocks tried the second bowl. It was too cold. Goldilocks tried the third bowl, and it was just right. Goldilocks was eating that third bowl of oatmeal. It was just right, and before she knew it, the oatmeal was gone. After she got her tummy full, she decided to look for a place to sit. Goldilocks sat in the first chair, and it was too soft. So then she sat in the next chair, and it was just too hard. Finally, she tried the third chair, and it was just right. And Goldilocks leaned just a little bit too far back, and the chair broke, spilling Goldilocks to the ground. "Oh no," said Goldilocks. "The chair broke. Now what do I do?" Yawning, Goldilocks decided to take a nap. Goldilocks saw a ladder up to a loft. She decided to climb up there to see if she could find a bed. There were 3 beds, a big one, a medium one, and a small one. Goldilocks decided to try the first bed. "I'm sure whoever lives here won't mind if I take a nap. Let's try this first bed." So Goldilocks tried the first bed, and it was just too hard. So then Goldilocks decided to try the next bed, the medium-sized bed. It was just too soft. Goldilocks decided to try the third bed, the smallest bed. And it was just right, and Goldilocks quickly fell asleep. Just then the 3 bears came home. "Oh my, did somebody leave the door open?" said Mama Bear. "It surely wasn't me," said Papa Bear. "It wasn't me either," said Little Baby Bear. Slowly, the 3 bears stepped inside. They looked all around, and their house looked very strange. Someone had been eating their oatmeal. Someone had broken the chair. "How strange," said Papa Bear. "Someone has eaten some of my oatmeal." "They've eaten my oatmeal too," said Mama Bear. "Oh no," said Little Bear. "They ate all of my oatmeal and all of it is gone." The 3 bears were very surprised, as you can imagine. They slowly stepped into their living room and had a look around. Papa Bear said, "Someone has been sitting in my chair." Mama Bear said, "Someone has been sitting in my chair." Baby Bear said, "Someone has been sitting in my chair, and look, it broke and fell to the ground." The 3 bears were so confused, and they decided to investigate further. They climbed up into the loft to see if they found anything strange up there as well. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," said Papa Bear. "The blankets are all ruffled up." "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," said Mama Bear. "The pillows are all thrown about." "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," said Baby Bear. "And look, she's still there." Goldilocks bolted awake and noticed 3 bears staring over her. Goldilocks jumped out of the bed and climbed down the ladder. Then she took off out the front door and through the woods, never to be seen again. Namaste, friends.
We've had quite the busy day already. Dean Atiles introduced us to our friend Gustavo. We've learned how we can turn all the memories we'll collect over the summer into an awesome piece of art that we can keep for years and years. And we got up and moving. I don't know about you guys, but I could use a snack after all that. Heard our friend Sadie is over in the kitchen getting something ready. Let's see what she's got cooking up.
Welcome to Snacking with Sadie. Today we are going to make smashed cucumbers. I've already washed my hands and the cucumbers, so let's get started. Don't use a knife without adult supervision. Here's my adult supervision now.
Happy to be here. Go for it.
We're going to split these down the middle and then turn them on their flat surface and cut them into fourths. Now repeat with the other cucumber. Put them in a plastic bag and make sure to get the air out, and then make sure to zip it up good so they don't fall out. Now the fun part. You can use a pan or a kitchen mallet to smash the cucumbers. We're smashing them so we can create more places for the sauce to soak in. Now dump your cucumbers into a large mixing bowl. Sprinkle a 1/4 teaspoon of salt into your cucumbers. Now mix up well. You can use a wooden spoon or your hands. I decided my hands because it's more fun. And make sure to smash the cucumbers a bit more so they can be bite-sized. Now let it sit for 15 to 30 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to mix up our sauce. Add 2 teaspoons of rice wine vinegar. Now put a 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1.5 teaspoon of low sodium soy sauce. Now mix together with a wooden spoon, or you can use a tiny whisk. After the cucumbers have set, put a few in a bowl, but if you have a big enough bowl with your sauce in it, you might be able to put all of them. After you've mixed up the cucumbers, put them on a plate and enjoy. This will be good as a after-school snack or a side dish with salmon. This has been Snacking with Sadie. Join us back here next time.
Just like that, we've come to the end of another episode of WVU Energy Express. We can't wait to show you what we have in store for the rest of the season, and we hope you'll meet us here next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.